News Now starts now.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Valeria Fugate. Let's start out by taking a look at weather first.
And it's been a nice and sunny day so far here today, but let's take a look at our current temperatures and see what we got going on around the area. 74 degrees here in Cheyenne, a little warmer in Scottsbluff, 73 over into Casper, and up in Buffalo it's just below 70 at about 69 degrees. We're a little cooler on the western edge of Wyoming as well. As we head on over to our radar and satellite, those storms are already trying to pop up here as we get into the afternoon, some around Cheyenne area and then some just below Casper, which will factor into our weather headlines as we move on over. First, starting off with Cheyenne, storms are likely here today, then a rain chance into the afternoon, and the same thing will happen tomorrow with the late popping up of storms through the area. Heading over to Casper, mostly dry. We do have that rain kind of just to our south that'll try and build on up to us. Rain chance into tonight with those storms, of course. They are slow moving, and a chance of rain into tomorrow too. It just seems like we can't get away from all this moisture, but I'll have more on what to expect with that later on in the show. Let's head back to the desk for now.
Thanks, Austin. The Department of Justice may be investigating an alleged scheme out of Wyoming connected to the 2020 election. Sources say federal prosecutors are looking into conservative-backed efforts in our state to infiltrate the Democratic National Committee. The investigation appears to stem from the 2021 New York Times article. The report supposedly details an undercover operation by conservatives to gain access to progressive groups, political campaigns, as well as offices of both Democrat and moderate Republican elected officials. According to sources, prosecutors want to know if any campaign finance laws were violated and have subpoenaed former British intelligence official Richard Seddon and Republican donor Susan Gore. No one has been accused of any wrongdoing. Former President Donald Trump says it's a dark day in the United States, as sources say he is indicted on 7 counts in a classified document probe. The White House has declined to comment. Emily Schmidt has more from Washington on what led up to this unprecedented event.
45th President Donald Trump owns many firsts. First to be impeached and acquitted twice, now indicted twice.
I'm an innocent man. I did nothing wrong.
The news is the result of months of federal investigations into mishandling classified documents as the former president moved from the White House to Mar-a-Lago. In January 2022, Trump sent 15 boxes of documents to the National Archives. That June, his attorney recovered 38 classified records. The FBI searched Mar-a-Lago and found more than 100 additional classified materials, all as federal grand juries went to work in Washington, then Miami. The former president criticized the moves, including in ads like this.
So, like a pack of rabid wolves, they attack.
Trump already faced an indictment in New York on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records for hush money payments made before his 2016 campaign. Trump pleaded not guilty. And there's another first.
Again, I am tonight announcing my candidacy for President of the United States.
Trump is running for president again.
My hope is that the Department of Justice would be able to present to the American people that the facts and the case and the applicable law rise to the level to justify what would be an unprecedented prosecution of a former president.
The former president gathered advisors around him as the Department of Justice recently advised Trump he was the target of a classified documents probe. Now the next unprecedented legal chapter begins. I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
The Casper Police Department is looking for more officers to join its department. Having experienced staff shortages for the better part of the year, the Casper Police Department is looking to fill out their ranks.
We definitely are still facing those shortages here in Casper. Any day of the week, we're from 10 to 20% down as far as sworn officers goes. It's pretty similar in our professional staff too. So we're always looking for police officers, community service officers, record keeping. We're definitely still experiencing that shortage. That's kind of what everybody's looking at.
July 10th, there will be an open call where anyone can try the physical exam and get a head start on joining the department. About 10% of Wyoming's population suffers from food insecurity, and with summer right around the corner, the Food Bank of Wyoming is there to help those in need. The Food Bank of Wyoming says that there is an increased need in fresh and nutritious food, and they want to make sure that they are responding to the needs by ensuring its warehouses are properly stocked and ready.
If a family does have a limited budget and they need to pay their rent and their utilities because they don't allow you to pay 70% of those, you have to pay the full bill, and you're looking at your food budget to be flexible, Food Bank of Wyoming and our partners are really there to be able to provide those nutritious, wholesome foods that your family might need.
If you'd like to help, you can donate food to the local pantry or the Food Bank of Wyoming. Folks can also volunteer their time by helping to put together food banks for those in need. Okay. Market watchers are glad to see stocks are done hibernating. Wall Street ended its bear market due to a strong market performance on Thursday. John Lawrence reports.
Wall Street is back to being bullish. Due to a late rally Thursday, the S&P ended the day in bull market territory for the first time since January 2022. In layman's terms, a bull market is an extended period of time when investment prices are climbing or getting worked up like a bull in front of a red carpet. Analysts say this boost comes from major gains in tech stocks, the end of the debt ceiling crisis, and a string of recent strong economic readings. However, this bull market might be metaphorically skating on thin ice. Some market watchers fear this could be a short-lived rally, citing high costs as a big concern.
Inflation is cutting into every single family in their budgets across the nation.
And political tensions in Washington, D.C. could make the matter cloudy.
We have to reach a spending agreement so that the needs of the American people can be reached. But right now, there is no activity happening in the Congress because of the extreme nature of the House Republican Conference.
Some experts say the length of this bull market is also likely dependent on the Federal Reserve and its interest rate policy decision next week. Economists say if the Fed skips a hike next month, markets will likely keep climbing. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
In other economic news, middle-income home seekers in the U.S. are having troubles finding a place to buy. The National Association of Realtors and Realtor.com say these consumers can't afford more than 3/4 of the listings on the market.
And taking a look at our weather around the area, we do have a cloudy day here over Cheyenne, and that's because some rain is on the way, as we'll take a look here in just a moment. But first, our Skycam is brought to you by Lennox Auto Body. And let's take a look at our current conditions around the area. Starting off here with Cheyenne, about 74 degrees out there, nice and warm. And we do have a light breeze to keep things from getting a little too warm out there. About 8 miles an hour, not too bad of a day. As we head on over to Casper, nice and bright, 73 degrees out there, very sunny, and a light breeze again around 5 miles an hour, just keeping things from getting a little too warm out there and giving us a nice cool breeze to sit out and enjoy. As we head on over to our travel impacts around the area, nice and dry out there on the roads as well, and be sure to visit wireroad.info for more information as you make your way on through the day, as our travel impacts can change pretty quickly, especially with that wild Wyoming wind and that weather moving on in that we'll take a look at in just a moment right after the break.
Do we want to float Cranston? Hello? In the D block. Okay. Okay. Something in the C block. Alrighty, do we want to just move then the VOSOT of the forestry fires? Yeah, do you want me to do that? Okay. So we're going in to see, yeah?
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. A different sky cam for everybody here today. This is over at Pumpkin Vine near Beaufort, Wyoming, and we can see there's definitely plenty of clouds out there, and some of those clouds will have some heavy rain with them, as we'll see in just a moment. Taking a look though at our severe risk for today, starting us off, not much of a severe risk around the Cowboy State, but still a risk of some general thunderstorms as we make our way through the day here today, and we'll definitely see them pop on up. They'll be pretty scattered as they make their way around, but they can still have some heavy rain, stronger winds, and maybe even some small hail as we make our way through the day. But starting off with our radar and satellite to take a look, we can see that we do have some showers and storms around the area, mainly here just to the south of Casper, just to the south of Rawlins, and then some near Cheyenne moving on across the border. And we're going to zoom in here on Cheyenne to take a better look. We can see that it's pretty small, but still some big lightning with that storm moving over I-80 here, and we could see some heavy rain with that. So take it nice and easy if you do encounter heavy rain on your way on the highway or just around the area. And then moving on over into Casper, we can see just to our south again some showers and storms moving on into the area. This one here's got a little bit of lightning with it too, and that could be dropping some heavy rain heading off towards the Casper area too. So watch out for some heavy rain as we make our way through the day here today. And that's why we're going to take a look at our storm safety again and just take a look at how we can stay safe, just in case any of these storms get a little strong. Let's pick an interior room on the lowest floors, a safe place just in case storms get a little too hectic for us. And when thunder roars, go indoors. Just because it's nice and clear outside doesn't mean you can't be struck by lightning. Lightning can travel for miles outside of a thundercloud, so be prepared for when thunder roars. As we head on over to what we can do right now, and in case of severe weather when it moves in, let's have multiple ways of receiving warnings. Our phone might be dead, or maybe we lose connection, or maybe our TV is tuned to a different channel. So it's always nice to have multiple ways to receive warnings and to stay up to date on our local forecast. That way we know when storms are in the forecast and where they're at in relation to us. Heading on to what we can do in the future and while we're driving, let's have a plan for severe weather. It's always nice to have a plan just in case, and let's take extra care while driving during a storm. As we saw, that one storm is heading over I-80, and then the one near Casper will eventually head over I-25. So that heavy rain could drop our visibility and make it pretty tough to see. So let's take it easy while we're driving during some storms around the area. And taking a look at our forecast highs, that rain isn't going to dampen our temperatures too much. A lot of 80s to our east and 74 here in Cheyenne. Up in Casper, pretty warm, 77 in Casper and 80s around there. So nice and warm in the Casper area, a little cooler off to the western edge of Wyoming. But those storm safety tips are going to come in handy for us because we have scattered showers and storms possible for the rest of our weekend into the new week ahead for most of the week. But we are going to have a little bit of dry time as we get later on into next weekend that we'll keep our eye on. Heading on over into Casper again, scattered showers and storms possible for our weekend and into next week, but we'll have a little bit more dry time in Casper. I'll have your full extended forecast for you in just a bit, but first, let's head back to the desk.
Thanks, Austin. Poor air quality from wildfires in Canada is expected to stick around for some parts of the East Coast until at least the weekend. Winds are forecast to push thick smoke farther south into the mid-Atlantic starting tonight from Delaware to Washington, D.C. Karen Kaifa in Washington, D.C. looks at how things could get worse and what the U.S. is doing to help Canada.
If you don't have to be outside, then don't be outside.
More than 75 million Americans under air quality alerts as the U.S. steps up its efforts to assist Canada with fighting more than 400 relentless wildfires.
Getting off the metro, I felt like I couldn't really breathe, catch my breath.
I'm a little worried, I'm not going to lie. Forest rangers from New York State are joining a growing number of first responders heading up north. New York Governor Kathy Hochul says the rangers will leave Friday and will join the hundreds of firefighters the U.S. has already sent.
We already have 600 American firefighters on the ground.
And more may be ahead. On Thursday, U.S. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer called on the Department of Agriculture to double the number of U.S. Forest Service personnel available to help in Canada.
The best way to ensure the U.S. does not suffer another wave of wildfire air pollution is to contain these fires.
The air is potentially harmful. It's spreading further south, reaching other major U.S. cities, such as Washington, and it's expected to stick around through the weekend. Experts advise limiting outdoor activities or moving them indoors. In New York, schools are going remote on Friday due to the pollution.
It has an immediate impact on people's health. irritation to the eyes, the nose, breathing, coughing.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
What? Okay, how even? Can we, okay, so 3.5 minutes light? Are you kidding me? Jeez, mother. Okay, okay. So do we want to unfloat Cranston, unfloat RSV? And how long is the Ukraine? Okay, because we still got the Y and we still got the Ukrainian flooding. I don't care. Yeah. So we're starting out with, where are we? In D block, so with the fires, right? With all the smoke in the air, many are wondering when Wyoming's fire season will start. Luckily, we've had plenty of moisture, but in some areas of the state, we may have the opposite problem. A USDA forestry rep says the Medicine Bow Root National Forest and grasslands are experiencing high water levels. There's plenty of snow and high watersheds with the potential for flash flooding. This precipitation is welcome after years of drought, but people need to be careful with washed out roads when heading outdoors, especially in areas that have experienced burn scars from previous fire seasons. Experts say that 512 Road past Rob Roy Reservoir and Rambler Division towards North Platte may still be washed out. Experts say to also keep an eye out for snowdrifts that are still in higher elevation areas.
There could be something that we haven't found yet or just occurred the night before around the next corner. So keep your speeds low and be aware for those kind of hazards. But then number two, just check with your local ranger district or on our website before you head out to the forest.
Voos says the precipitation can mean extra growth, but can also mean fuels for future fire. Bryan Cranston has announced that in 2026, he will take a break from Hollywood. The Breaking Bad star told British GQ in an interview published on Thursday that he has plans that do not include Tinseltown. Instead, Cranston says he hopes to be spending time with his wife, Robin Dearden, in France. The actor is adamant that he will not be reading scripts or taking phone calls for possible work. He notes it will not happen tomorrow, but could occur in 3 years when he is 70 years old. Cranston may also shut down his production company, Moonshot Entertainment, and sell half of his Dos Hombres tequila brand during this time. He co-owns the tequila brand with his Breaking Bad co-star, Aaron Paul. An FDA advisory panel has voted to recommend an injectable drug to prevent RSV in infants and some young toddlers. The therapy was developed by Sanofi and AstraZeneca and is called Nirsevimab. It is designed to be given in a single shot at birth or at baby's first season RSV. It can also be given as a large dose in a second RSV season in children who are highly vulnerable. Nearly every child before the age of 2 gets RSV or respiratory syncytial virus. Most cases are mild, but it's the leading cause of hospitalization among infants. In trial, the shot was found to lower the risk of RSV needing medical attention by 70% and by the risk of hospitalization of 78%. Common side effects were rash and injection site reaction. While the FDA isn't required to follow the committee's recommendation, it usually does. So can we, okay. Do you want to unfloat the Ukraine dam? Do we want to unfloat the food program as well? Okay, so how much time does that give us and leave us with? So that's 35, 45, and that is 45 and 5, so that's 50. How much are we short now? Perfect. Thank you. Now that school has finished, kids will be at home more and may not have access to food programs. The YMCA is looking to fill that gap. Starting on June 12th, the YMCA will be beginning their summer food program in partnership with the school district. Kids 18 and under can go to the Y and eat lunch free of charge as well as other places around town. The summer food program will run until the new school year and starts. The Youth Development Director, Amanda Coings, says being able to provide kids with lunch means a lot.
Being able to provide kids who maybe don't have parents at home to cook them lunch or have older siblings, to be able to come here and get at least one meal every day means a lot. That takes care of that food insecurity for them.
Lunch for kids 18 and under will start at 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The summer food program will run until August 25th. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, while addressing Ukraine's catastrophic dam collapse, told representatives of the World Environmental Protection Community on Thursday in an online video meeting, the disaster is Putin. Zelensky added Russian troops have not stopped artillery strikes where people are being evacuated. People who are rescuing and evacuating citizens are forced to flee from Russian fire. In the Russian-occupied part of the territory, where about a dozen settlements are flooded, no evacuation is being carried out at all. People have been staying on rooftops, trapped in water for 2 days, without drinking water, without food or medical care. We do not know the number of dead or injured yet, said Zelensky.
This man-made disaster at the Nova Kahoka hydroelectricity plant is not a natural disaster or a manifestation of the climate crisis. The disaster is Putin. What he does, what he personally orders to do.
And taking a look at our sky cam here today, we can see some rain over the I-80 summit. So we got to take it nice and easy if we're driving out there and it starts to rain down pretty heavily. As we take a look at our Elk Mountain cam, though, it's a little different, not quite wet over there. But as we take a look at our extended forecast, scattered showers and storms are going to be around us here for the week ahead and our weekend too. And heading on over to Casper, a little bit of dry time there, but still scattered